Do you ever feel like you're constantly running, but never actually arriving anywhere? Like you're busy all the time, but somehow your life isn't moving forward? You're not alone. We live in a culture that glorifies busyness, that treats exhaustion like a badge of honor, that makes us feel guilty for resting. But here's what nobody tells you. Staying constantly busy isn't productivity, it's self-destruction. And today, I'm going to show you 8 ways that busyness is quietly destroying your peace, your potential, and your life. Then I'll share 4 powerful Stoic strategies to break free from this trap and reclaim your calm. If you're feeling overwhelmed, burned out, or like you're trapped on a hamster wheel that never stops, this video is for you. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn could completely change how you live. Before we dive in, if this is your first time here, please subscribe and like this video. It helps me continue creating content that can genuinely improve your life. And remember, you are stronger than you think and more capable than you imagine. Don't let the chaos of modern life convince you otherwise. You deserve peace, clarity, and a life that actually feels meaningful. Now, the Stoics understood something that our modern world has forgotten. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in ancient Rome, knew that true power doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing what matters. Seneca warned about the dangers of wasting our most precious resource, time. And Epictetus taught that freedom comes from knowing what to say yes to and what to refuse. These ancient philosophers weren't lazy. They were some of the most accomplished people of their time. But they understood something crucial. Busyness without purpose is just noise. Activity without intention is just chaos. And a full calendar doesn't equal a full life. So if you've been feeling like you're drowning in tasks, commitments, and obligations, if you can't, remember the last time you felt truly calm. If you're exhausted but somehow still feel like you're not doing enough, pay attention, because what I'm about to share with you might save your sanity. Number 1, you lose connection with yourself. When you're constantly busy, when every moment is scheduled, when you're always rushing from one thing to the next, you lose something precious: connection with yourself. You don't have time to think, to reflect, to process what's happening in your life. The Stoics practiced regular self-examination. Marcus Aurelius spent time every day writing in his journal, thinking about his actions, his thoughts, his values. This wasn't wasted time. It was essential time. It's how he stayed grounded, how he maintained his integrity, how he made wise decisions. But when you're too busy, you don't have that space. You operate on autopilot. You react instead of responding. You lose touch with what you actually want, what you actually value, what actually matters to you. And before you know it, you're living someone else's life, chasing someone else's goals, trying to meet someone else's expectations. I've seen this happen to so many people. They work so hard, they stay so busy, and then one day they wake up and realize they don't even recognize their own life. They've been so busy climbing the ladder that they never stopped to ask if it was leaning against the right wall. Here's what happens on a deeper level. When you never pause, when you never create space for silence and solitude, you can't hear your inner voice. That voice that tells you when something's wrong, when you're heading in the wrong direction, when you need to make a change. It gets drowned out by the constant noise of busyness. The Stoics believed that wisdom comes from self-knowledge. But how can you know yourself if you never spend time with yourself? How can you understand your values if you never examine them? How can you live intentionally if you never pause to set intentions? So ask yourself, when was the last time you had an hour with nothing to do? When was the last time you sat quietly and just thought? When was the last time you checked in with yourself, really checked in, and asked, am I okay? Am I happy? Is this the life I want? If you can't remember, that's a problem, because you can't steer a ship you're not paying attention to. And right now, your ship might be heading straight for the rocks. Number 2, your relationships become superficial. Busyness doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone around you. When you're constantly rushed, constantly distracted, constantly thinking about the next thing on your list, you can't be fully present with the people you care about. The Stoics valued deep, meaningful relationships. Seneca wrote extensively about friendship, about the importance of having people in your life who know you deeply, who challenge you, who support you. But those kinds of relationships require time and attention. When you're too busy, your relationships become transactional. You see people briefly, exchange pleasantries, maybe share a meal while checking your phone, but you're not really there. You're physically present, but mentally absent. And people feel that. Your partner tries to talk to you about something important, but you're distracted. Your kids want your attention, but you're thinking about work. Your friends invite you out, but you're too busy. Or when you do go, you can't relax because you're thinking about everything you should be doing instead. Over time, this erodes your relationships. People stop sharing with you because they know you're not really listening. They stop inviting you because you're never available. They stop trying to connect because they can tell you're not present. And here's the tragic part. Most people don't realize what they're losing until it's gone. They wake up one day and realize their marriage has become empty. Their kids have grown distant. Their friendships have faded away, and they wonder how it happened. But it happened gradually, one distracted conversation at a time, one missed opportunity for connection after another. The Stoics understood that relationships are one of the things that make life worth living. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of treating others with kindness and attention. But you can't do that if you're always too busy. So here's the hard question. If someone asked the people closest to you whether you're really present with them, what would they say? Would they say you give them your full attention? Or would they say you're always distracted, always in a hurry, always somewhere else mentally? Number 3, you mistake motion for progress. This is one of the most insidious effects of constant busyness. You feel like you're being productive because you're always doing something. Your calendar is full. Your to-do list is long. You're exhausted at the end of every day. Surely that means you're accomplishing something, right? Wrong. Busyness and productivity are not the same thing. In fact, they're often opposites. Seneca wrote about this extensively. He talked about people who are always busy but never accomplish anything meaningful. People who fill their lives with trivial tasks while ignoring what truly matters. People who are busy doing nothing. Think about it. How much of your busyness is actually moving you toward your goals? How much is actually making your life better? How many of your daily tasks, if you're honest, are just filler? Things you do because they're there, not because they matter. I'll give you an example. Someone might spend 2 hours responding to every email in their inbox, feeling productive because they cleared it. But maybe none of those emails were important. Maybe they could have spent those 2 hours working on something that would actually change their life, starting that business, writing that book, having that important conversation. But the email felt urgent, so they did it. And now they're too tired to do what actually matters. This is what busyness does. It tricks you into feeling productive while keeping you away from real progress. The Stoics distinguished between what's urgent and what's important. Marcus Aurelius, running an empire, still made time for the important things: philosophy, self-reflection, meaningful relationships. He didn't let urgency dictate his life. So here's what you need to do. Look at your calendar for last week. Look at everything you did. Now ask yourself, how much of that actually mattered? How much moved you toward a life you actually want? How much was just motion disguised as progress? If the answer is uncomfortable, good. That discomfort is the beginning of wisdom. Number 4, your health deteriorates. Constant busyness takes a physical toll. When you're always stressed, always rushing, never resting, your body suffers, and eventually it breaks down. The Stoics understood the connection between mind and body. They practiced moderation, rest, proper diet, and exercise. They knew that to live well, you need to take care of your physical vessel. But when you're too busy, health becomes negotiable. You skip the gym because you don't have time. You eat fast food because you're rushing. You don't sleep enough because there's too much to do. You ignore signs of stress, the headaches, the tight chest, the exhaustion, because you can't afford to slow down. And this continues until your body forces you to stop. Maybe it's a breakdown, maybe it's illness, maybe it's just chronic exhaustion that makes you unable to function. Either way, your body will make you rest eventually. The question is whether you'll do it voluntarily or involuntarily. I've known people who were so busy they ignored serious health symptoms. They didn't have time to see a doctor, didn't have time to address problems, didn't have time to rest, and then they ended up hospitalized, forced to stop, facing consequences that could have been prevented. The irony is that when you sacrifice your health for busyness, you eventually lose the ability to be productive at all. You become less effective, less energetic, less capable. You're trying to do more, but you're running on empty, so everything takes longer and requires more effort. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Part of that waste is destroying the body that carries us through life. Without health, nothing else matters. You can have all the success in the world, but if you're too sick or exhausted to enjoy it, what's the point?" So ask yourself, what's your busyness costing your health? Are you sleeping enough, eating well, moving your body, managing stress? Or are you sacrificing all of that at the altar of productivity? Number 5, you become irritable and reactive. When you're constantly busy and overstimulated, you lose your emotional equilibrium. You become reactive instead of responsive. Small things set you off. You snap at people. You feel constantly on edge. This is the opposite of Stoic wisdom. The Stoics practiced equanimity, the ability to remain calm and composed regardless of circumstances. Marcus Aurelius wrote about not being disturbed by external events, about maintaining inner peace. But constant busyness makes this impossible. When you're stretched too thin, when you're exhausted, when you have no margin in your life, everything feels like a crisis. A minor inconvenience becomes a major problem. A simple request feels like an overwhelming demand. You become someone you don't like. You're short with your kids, you're impatient with your partner, you're frustrated with co-workers. You lose your temper over things that shouldn't matter, and afterward you feel guilty, but you're too tired to do better. This is what chronic stress does. It hijacks your nervous system, keeps you in fight or flight mode, makes you reactive and defensive. And the tragedy is that you're often taking out your stress on the people who matter most. The people who deserve your best, not your worst. The Stoics would say that this is a sign you've lost control. Not control over external circumstances. That's impossible, but control over yourself, over your reactions, over your inner state. And that's the only control that matters. So here's the question. Is your busyness making you a better person or a worse one? Is it bringing out your virtues or your vices? Is it making you more patient, kind, and wise, or more irritable, reactive, and unpleasant? Number 6, you never experience true rest. There's a difference between stopping and resting. When you're chronically busy, even when you stop doing things, you don't actually rest. Your mind is still racing. You're still thinking about work, about tasks, about everything you should be doing. You sit down to watch a show, but you're checking your phone. You go on vacation, but you're answering emails. You lie in bed, but you can't sleep because your brain won't shut off. This isn't rest, this is just exhausted activity. The Stoics understood the importance of rest and renewal. They practiced meditation, spent time in nature, created space for contemplation. They knew that wisdom requires a calm mind, and a calm mind requires genuine rest. But in our culture, rest is seen as weakness. We glorify people who work 80-hour weeks, who answer emails at midnight, who never unplug. And we've internalized this message so deeply that we feel guilty when we rest. We feel like we're wasting time, being lazy, falling behind. This is destroying us. Human beings aren't meant to operate at maximum capacity all the time. We need downtime. We need periods of low stimulation. We need to let our nervous systems reset, our minds wander, our bodies recover. When you never truly rest, you never truly recharge. You're constantly running on fumes, constantly depleted, constantly exhausted, and eventually you burn out completely, not just tired, but unable to function, unable to care, unable to continue. So ask yourself, when was the last time you experienced genuine rest? Not just stopping work, but actual rest, where your mind was calm, your body was relaxed, and you weren't thinking about what you should be doing instead. Number 7, you miss life's meaningful moments. Life happens in the small moments. A conversation with your child, a sunset, a quiet morning with coffee, a laugh with a friend. These are the moments that make life rich, that create memories, that give life meaning. But when you're too busy, you miss them. You're physically present, but mentally elsewhere. You don't notice the sunset because you're checking email. You don't really hear what your child is saying because you're thinking about work. You don't enjoy the moment because you're already thinking about the next thing. The Stoics practiced presence and gratitude. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to appreciate each moment, to be fully present in his life. He knew that we only get one life, and it's made up of individual moments, moments that we can either experience fully or let slip by unnoticed. When you're too busy, life becomes a blur. Days blend together, weeks fly by. Suddenly it's December and you can't remember what happened in January. Years pass and you realize you weren't really there for them. I remember talking to an elderly man who told me his biggest regret. He said, "I was so busy building a career, making money, achieving things, and I missed my kids growing up. They're adults now, and I barely know them. I was there physically, but I wasn't really there, and I can't get those years back." That's the cost of constant busyness. You trade presence for productivity. You trade depth for speed. You trade meaning for motion. And by the time you realize what you've lost, it's too late to get it back. Number 8, you lose your sense of purpose. Ultimately, constant busyness disconnects you from purpose. When you're always rushing from task to task, you lose sight of why you're doing any of it. You forget what you're working toward, what matters to you, what kind of life you want to create. The Stoics believed that life should be lived with intention and purpose. Seneca wrote that people who don't know where they're going will never arrive. Marcus Aurelius constantly asked himself whether his actions aligned with his values. But when you're too busy, you don't have time to think about purpose. You just do what's in front of you. You respond to whoever's demanding your attention. You react to whatever feels urgent. You're not steering your life, you're just trying to keep up. This is how people end up living lives that don't actually belong to them. They work jobs they don't care about because it seemed like the next logical step. They maintain relationships that drain them because they never pause to evaluate. They pursue goals that don't actually matter to them because someone else said they should. And the tragedy is that you can be incredibly busy, incredibly productive, incredibly successful by external measures and still feel empty inside. Because busyness without purpose is just noise. Achievement without meaning is just hollow. So here's the most important question. Why are you so busy? What's it all for? If you achieved everything on your to-do list, if you met all your obligations, if you accomplished all your goals, would you be satisfied? Would it feel meaningful? Or would you just create a new list and keep running? Now let's talk about the 4 Stoic strategies to reclaim your peace. Strategy number 1, practice the art of subtraction. The Stoics believed that wisdom often involves removing rather than adding. Marcus Aurelius wrote about eliminating what's unnecessary, about simplifying rather than complicating. Most people approach busyness by trying to do everything faster, to be more efficient, to optimize their time. But that's not the solution. The solution is to do less, but to do what matters more deeply. Look at everything in your life right now. Your commitments, your obligations, your activities, your tasks. Ask yourself about each one. Does this actually matter? Does this align with my values? Does this move me toward the life I want? Or am I doing this out of obligation, fear, habit, or guilt? Then start eliminating. Not everything. You have real responsibilities, but probably more than you think is negotiable. That committee you're on, but don't really care about. That social obligation that drains you. That hobby you don't actually enjoy anymore, but feel like you should keep doing. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else, including rest, presence, and peace. So be ruthless about what you allow into your life. Protect your time and energy like the precious resources they are. Strategy number 2, create sacred space. The Stoics practiced regular periods of contemplation and solitude. They knew that wisdom requires space, space to think, to reflect, to reconnect with what matters. You need to build this into your life intentionally, because it won't happen on its own. Create sacred space, time that's protected, that's non-negotiable, that's just for you to be still. Maybe it's 20 minutes every morning before anyone else wakes up. Maybe it's a walk every evening with no phone. Maybe it's one day a month where you do nothing productive at all. Whatever it is, make it sacred. Defend it. Don't let it get eaten by busyness. Use this time to journal, to meditate, to think, to plan, to dream, or to do absolutely nothing. The point isn't productivity. The point is creating space to be human, not just a productivity machine. Strategy number 3, learn to distinguish urgent from important. This is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. The Stoics were masters of this. They understood that most things that feel urgent aren't actually important, and most things that are important rarely feel urgent. Urgent things demand your attention right now. They're usually other people's priorities, other people's problems, other people's deadlines. Important things are aligned with your values, your goals, your purpose. They're what actually matters in the long term. The trap is that urgent things feel more pressing, so we do them first. And then we never get to the important things. We spend our whole lives responding to urgency while ignoring importance. Start practicing this distinction. When something comes up, ask, is this urgent or is it important? Does this need to happen now, or does it just feel that way? Am I doing this because it matters or because someone else is pressuring me? Then make a radical decision. Prioritize important over urgent whenever possible. Let some urgent things go. Let some people wait. Disappoint some expectations. Choose importance over urgency. Strategy number 4, embrace strategic incompleteness. This is a hard one, but it's essential. You need to accept that not everything will get done. Your to-do list will never be complete. There will always be more you could do. The Stoics accepted the limitations of human existence. They knew we can't control everything, can't do everything, can't be everything to everyone. And they found peace in that acceptance. You need to do the same. You need to get comfortable with leaving things undone, with letting people down sometimes, with being imperfect. Because the alternative, trying to do everything, is making you miserable. This means making conscious choices about what you will leave incomplete. Maybe you don't deep clean your house every week. Maybe you don't respond to every email. Maybe you don't attend every event. Maybe you're okay with being less successful by external measures if it means being more peaceful internally. This isn't about being lazy or irresponsible. It's about being strategic. It's about recognizing that you have limited time and energy and choosing consciously how to spend them rather than trying to do everything and doing nothing well. In conclusion, Busyness has become the default mode of modern life. But it doesn't have to be your mode. You can choose differently. You can choose peace over productivity. You can choose presence over performance. You can choose a life that feels meaningful over a calendar that looks impressive. The Stoics knew something we've forgotten. The good life isn't about doing more. It's about being more present, more intentional, more aligned with what matters, more at peace. So stop glorifying exhaustion. Stop treating busyness like a badge of honor. Stop sacrificing your peace, your relationships, your health, your life at the altar of productivity. Start subtracting instead of adding. Start protecting space instead of filling it. Start distinguishing important from urgent. Start accepting that you can't do everything. And that's okay. As Seneca wrote, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough, and it has been given in sufficiently generous measure to allow the accomplishment of the very greatest things, if the whole of it is well invested. Stop wasting your life on busyness. Start investing it in what matters. I sincerely hope this message has been useful to you. I want to congratulate you for making it this far and completing the video. That means you desire to improve as a person. If you liked the video, leave your comment. If you don't know what to comment, write wisdom so I'll know you watched until the end. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe now and join us. Stoicism is full of teachings like this that are applicable to daily life, so I encourage you to keep learning about this philosophy. Until next time.